Hello, namaste. So just news today that I just wanted to bring up as I'm going through different articles. I want to discuss about the school and sending kids back to school in general, since now the measures have increased drastically. This is an article that I found in Italian of a community called Varese in northern Italy that basically is using bracelets on children bracelets that they're introducing as a game to put on children. And then if those children are too close to other kids, the bracelet will actually vibrate. So, and they want to implement this not only throughout Italy, but also in France. Italy and France. Totally psychological damage. And I would think that if it's being implemented, because like this whole thing has been kind of like a wave, like it started in the East and then it like hit Europe and then it like is moving to the States and now it's like down in, like South America. So I think it's just like a huge wave. So I think anything that's happening here it's eventually they want it global. And what they've done in this school here in Italy is they have kids wearing these bracelets that actually will vibrate if they get too close. And this, in my opinion, is emotional and psychological damage to the child. It's bad enough that they have to wear the masks, but now you have them wearing these bracelets that are vibrating if they get too close. We have to remember that we as humans are social creatures and we need community, and especially growing. The only way that we can develop certain skills is by being around other people and having a community. For example, community comes from communication. The only way that we can learn how to speak and interact with others is by having community. And these are crucial skills. And this is exactly why people are no longer able to communicate. This is why everybody's on their smartphone and they're just sitting at their smartphone and they look up and they have no idea how to interact with the world. And this is part of the situation that we're seeing right now is you have these people that have no idea. For them, it's just like going back to normal life, like nothing ever happened, because they've almost like some people have grown up in this completely antisocial kind of way, and they've never learned the skills to be able to even interact with other people. And this is very scary because we as a human race, we are humans. We are not robots. We are meant to interact, and we depend on others to make this world happen the way that it needs to happen. I cannot do everything on my own. I need someone that I buy the clothing from, and I need someone that fixes my car, and I need someone that, grows food for me, and I need somebody that repairs appliances, and I need, somebody that, fixes the road that I can drive on. So we are this interconnected kind of society, and we need other people because us as a species, just the fact that we are creatures that need to reproduce, this is kind of a sign that we need other people. And, where they're putting society is that, almost we'll get to a point where we won't even need other people to reproduce. So we will almost become like these kind of shallow, driven, kind of empty, hollow souls is the road that we're heading down, this technocracy. And then there is the argument, oh, well, I don't need people to do any of those things because now I have robots that would do this. Okay, well, us as humans, for example, we also have emotional system. We also have senses that require that we are interacting by using all of our senses. Humans being social creatures and developing in groups feed off of emotions from other people. And this is how communication works. We feed off the thoughts of others and we exchange different hormones with each other. You know, even when a male and female is attracted, they exchange pheromones. You know, so we are built to live in a physical type of world that requires us to use all of our senses. The sense of touch and the sense of closeness with another human being is something that a robot would not provide. That would be like saying that a plastic plant would be the equivalent of a live plant. And it's just simply not the case. A plastic plant will never be able to provide what a real live plant provides. And we are living physical, emotional, mental beings that are alive, and our needs, the most important needs that we have on an emotional basis or even a mental basis, cannot be provided by an inanimate programmed object. So, you know, the only way to stop this from happening is that people need to kind of, you know, they need to wake up pretty quickly, because what they're doing, you know, now they have also in Germany, we can see this article here, you know, even with the testing, because what it is it's like you know, they have the masks, you know, they're starting to condition us so we get used to the social distancing, partly because the social distancing, as you can see from this article, the social distancing is needed so they can track us, so they can, you know, the social distancing is needed so they can single us out, essentially, because as you can see here, the surveillance equipment doesn't work if we're in big groups. So they need to single us out. And once the 5G is activated, you know, those that are performing or those that are behaving badly according to their new societal guidelines may be given a blast of 5G, you know. We don't know how the future is going to be, but we know that if we continue to go down this road, it is not going to get better. It's only going to get worse. And that's why it's important that we wake up. So these kids now, you know, they're going to grow up in this world of complete control, complete surveillance, and complete psychological damage. And what we need to do is we need to take a step back and start to implement skills on, you know, how to work again with each other, how to communicate with each other, how to help each other, how to, you know, if there is an issue between two people, we know how to resolve that issue, you know, via communication. We need to work on skills such as, you know, encouraging others and rooting for others. You know, why are we criticizing, you know, when we should be encouraging? You know, we're all just humans just trying to do the best that we can on this planet we call Earth. So this is just some things I wanted to bring up. So they have the social distancing. This is preparing us for, you know, complete surveillance. They want the bracelets on the kids, which is psychological damage, not to mention the masks, which is going to create just a number of health problems. Also wearing, for children to wear these masks is not going to help those children to fully develop their lungs. So as they grow older, they are going to suffer in general from more lung problems, more respiratory diseases, for the fact that their lungs were not able to properly develop because their breathing has not properly developed. So this is another issue to really start to take into consideration. Parents, but for those of you that have children, you really need to start to question this. And my personal opinion is you should not send your child back to school. You should not, under these conditions. You need to protest the school. You need to, get rid of the masks, get rid of the bracelets, get rid of the contact tracing, which they want everybody tested. My personal opinion is if they put, a swab in your mouth, this is a violation of your personal space. This is essentially, we're being treated like cattle at this point. But we are not cattle. We are intelligent beings that have the capacity to reason and use logic and use critical thinking. So one thing that did to end this video on a positive note, I'm not even going to go into, they want everybody traced so they can track you and then, have the certificate of vaccination, which is essentially what COVID is, certificate of vaccination. And I'm not even going to go into the microchipping and, everything else. They are doing more tests. They're basically, what they're doing in the schools, another reason not to send your kid to school is because they are doing more testing in schools. The Kitas, which is like the daycare, and the Pflegeheim, which is like the old people place, like the care center for the elderly, nursing homes. So if you send your kid to school, and they are doing the same thing in Italy, basically in 3 different communities in Italy, they have 1,000 children a day that are being vaccinated. So you also have to be very careful. If you are a parent, if you're sending your child to school, there could very well be the chance that your child comes home already having been vaccinated. So this is something to take into consideration. If you are not wanting your child to be vaccinated, do not send your child back to school. But I do want to end, another thing that I wanted to bring up, all of these places now that have masks, social distancing, you should not frequent these places. There was also an ad here in Berlin. Now the swimming pools have opened up, and you can see that. You can see this here. The swimming pools have opened up, and people have to remain social distancing. They have to continue social distancing. So I think that's really interesting when in the same pool water, you have like 1,000 kids that have peed in that water. So it's okay if you're like submersed in pee, but you do have to maintain social distancing. So I really hope that people are protesting these measures, because, you have to start to see that there's just, things are not, they're not normal. They are definitely not normal. And we need to kind of wake up and say, this is not normal, and we're not going to accept it. But to end this video on a positive note, I do want to bring up the fact that this was the first thing, is that only 1 in 5 people, which is 20%, are no longer believing the media. So 20% is pretty good. There was a study that they had actually done that said once the numbers get to about 22 to 25%, people start following that as the majority. So that is a positive outlook, that about 20% of the people are really starting to believe that this whole coronavirus thing has been, they've been basically exaggerating the numbers and not giving all the information that they should be giving. Keep getting this information out as much as possible, because like I said, people having to use ankle bracelets, children with bracelets and masks, swimming pools with social distancing. It's gone way out of control. And like I said, especially parents, like I said, this is the article from the Italian, 1,000 kids a day now, they go to school and they come back home vaccinated. So, this is, I hope if you're a parent, you are not accepting this, that they're basically forcing these measures onto your kids. So that being said, let me know if you have any additional things. You can add them in the comments below. Subscribe if you want to follow, like if you like the video, and namaste.